Hello everyone and welcome to Magical Me. I'm Jamie Mendez and this is my weekly Moonday Oracle message, which is going to be an intuitive reading for the collective. So what that means is that it is not personalized readings that I'm doing here, pulling card individually for people. It is one card essentially for all of us for the energy of the week and what we all need to know collectively. It's for the week of August 7th, 2023. However, I do set the intention that you find yourself here in divine timing. So what that means is that whether you're watching it live or on the replay, even months from now, you are here exactly in divine timing, which means that when you find yourself here is when you most need to hear the message that comes forward, okay? So before I go any further, I just want to make sure that those of you tuning in can hear me okay. So just drop me a comment. Just let me know how it sounds on your end. Hello, Dawn and Bridget. Welcome, and thank you, beautiful goddesses, for being here with me today. How are you all this blessed magical moon day? Wonderful. Thank you, Bridget. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and share this then quickly because I did not announce when I was going live today because I was recording a ceremony earlier today and I didn't know if I was honestly even going to make it. So I'm just going to share it quickly, so bear with me. How has everybody been doing? I know that we are on the precipice or the eve of the Lionsgate portal. I'll explain what that is in a moment for those of you who are like, what is that? Bridget, massive migraine, but I'm fighting it. Okay, well, how about instead of fighting it, here's an interesting perspective. I know it's harder said than done because headaches are like the worst. But how about instead of fighting it, how about allowing it? I know that's a very challenging thing to do, but I'm not surprised about the headache. Again, I won't spirit everything away. Obviously, there could be a number of reasons why you have a headache, but because I am so connected into energy, it is so powerful right now, being that we are on the eve of the Lionsgate portal. That has to do with the star Sirius. I'll go into it more, but it is a cosmic energetic thing, so it could play into, Sirius definitely connects a lot with the third eye and the crown. I'll go more into why. Makes sense to me. Hi, beautiful Brenna. Welcome and thank you so much for being here. Essentially, allowing means that something it's one, upgrades, activations that are happening in our energy bodies, in our energy field, but also high frequency energy coming in can cause headaches. So lots of water, grounding, but also just allowing and asking why you're experiencing the physical pain in regards to what it's, what is it doing? What is occurring that is creating the physical pain? Because to me, it's kind of like flash download, if you will. Okay, think I did it. Did I do it? Oh, I did. Okay, wonderful. Oh, you're welcome, lovely. But obviously, do what you need to do for you, because I know that they can get intense and be very difficult to manage. So obviously do what you need to do for you. Listen to your body, as always. All right, so let me see. Dawn says, things seem out of sorts. Oh, they most certainly are. Okay, so before I go into the Lionsgate portal and what that means, I'm just going to say for all those of you who are tuning in for the first time to Magical Me, my Moonday reading, welcome. Thank you for being here. Again, this reading is for the collective. It is a generalized overview of the energy of the week and really what we almost need to know. As I am an intuitive, I do work with oracle cards, and I ask for a higher message of divine wisdom and insight to come through for us all so that we can understand how to best maneuver through the energy of the week, how we can best embrace the energy, and how we can best essentially work with it versus just kind of flowing against the grain, if you will. So it helps to bring us into more of a harmonious alignment and awareness when we have this insight. Okay, so once again, it's a collective reading, not individual, but I do offer personal readings privately. If you are interested, you can always send me a message and we can talk about the different sorts of readings I offer and how they work. Also, I do energetic healing sessions as well. We can do those remotely or in person, so you can always reach out to me about those. I don't have any news and announcements at this time, although next week I'm going to be introducing and preparing and making my new course ready for those who are interested. And it does have to do with working with the planet Venus. All right. Okay, so with that said, before we go into the reading and all that, I want to talk a little bit about it because I know it's going to come up because it's been coming up all day. You heard me say that this is the eve of the Lion's Gate. Now, the Lionsgate portal has been celebrated on August 8th, 8/8 every year. However, it actually opens up, or this energetic gateway, if you will, opens up on about July 26th, which is when the Galactic New Year begins. It is when the star Sirius actually begins its heliacal rise, or starts to move closer and closer to Earth. And Sirius has been known by many ancient cultures as our spiritual sun, if you will. So when you have our physical sun, that is more working with energizing our physical body, reawakening and bringing vitality into our physical body. But with our spiritual sun, that brings energy into our spiritual self. It brings new life into our spiritual centers, into our spiritual, and essentially it's helping to birth our spiritual self more into our physical awareness. If that makes sense to everybody. So Sirius at this time is believed to be the closest to Earth. So it starts on the 26th through August 12th. August 8th is the peak, and that is when it's celebrated, but it's also when it's closest to Earth. So at this time, it's like our spiritual, our spiritual sun and our actual sun, they're all doing this little magical dance and infusing planet Earth. So planet Earth also represents as a mirror to our physical bodies. And against our spiritual body, physical bodies kind of coming into this divine union right now. So it's acceleration of bringing our energy field into an upgrade, if that makes sense to everybody. For those of you who aren't really more aware of this sort of terminology and what this all means, so it's like an energetic upgrade. At the same time, this is when the ancient Egyptians, they were very much paid attention to and honored the star Sirius and its movements. And at this time is the exact time as well during that period when the Nile River would flood. And that was a welcomed event because it would bring about restoring life and balance to an otherwise very dry area. So this was like water being life force and the earth being dry and its physical body bringing that water. Even though it flooded, it actually then brought about the new fertile soil for crops to be grown, and it's basically it's a renewal of life. So with that said, you can also see that as a renewal of our spiritual essence into our physical body. So it's like this divine alignment. At the same time, on the 13th, which is right after Sirius does this, or this Lionsgate portal, and they call it the Lionsgate because we are in the season of Leo. And obviously, lion or Lyran energy was very celebrated in ancient Egypt as well. So it's like the fire of the sun, which is Leo energy. And it's, kind of bringing that whole like transfiguration at the same time. So it's a really powerful window of magical manifestation for new beginnings. So it's helping us to upgrade our energy fields. And when our energy fields and energy bodies get upgraded, so too does the pathway that our life can run on. So it really opens us up to new experiences, new timelines, new beginnings. So great time to focus your energy and your thoughts on what you want and what you wish to see birthed or created versus not what you don't want. So don't put your energy into lack at all right now, because that is what you will manifest or create. Okay. So I hope that explains that for the most part. But at the same time, so you heard me say that my new course that I'm going to be introducing is working with the planet Venus. At the same time, Venus is just getting ready to die to the old self, and a new Venus star point is being born. And that's something that I'm going to be teaching more about. But as this happens, she's going to be being reborn as the morning star. This happens with a new meta goddess. Again, something I'll be explaining more about. It's an archetype that we will embody over the next 19 or 18 months. And as we do this, it's the Leo meta goddess that's being reborn for the next 18 months, but as the morning stars. And the morning star is interesting because she is basically ascending or dissolving into everything. And that is her spiritual divinity. So too are we. Very much in symmetry there with the Syrian Leo Lionsgate. So hope that explains it. So very powerful week, everybody, if you have not already gathered, all right? So with that said, before we get into the reading, let's go ahead and bring it into sacred space together. So what that means is when we create sacred space, it's just to kind of like lock down the energetic space around us. Right now, we are all sharing space or sharing energy across space and time. So we want to make sure that as we're doing this as a collective, as a unit here, that we are just, one, really centering and earthing and grounding ourselves so that we can receive the highest, best insight and wisdom for all of our highest and greatest good, but also so that we can kind of detach from any chaos or distractions that are going on around us, as again, we are all kind of connecting right now. All right. So I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes if you can safely. It's okay if you cannot. And if you have to keep your eyes open, you can absolutely do so. But I want you to take a nice cleansing breath in through your nose. And you're going to release that breath through your mouth. And as you release the breath, you are releasing all stress, all tension in your body, all discordant thoughts, all inner conflict. We're letting go of everything, as the only thing that matters is the here and now. So go ahead and take another deep breath in. And release. Just allowing yourself to just relax, becoming lighter and lighter, yet anchoring and grounding deep down into Mother Earth. One more time, you take a nice deep breath in. And as you release, just dropping your mind now into your heart. Just coming into your feeling center. No thoughts, no worries. Just now, just this moment, surrounded by love, as we ask to receive the highest wisdom, insight, and truth for the highest and greatest good from the source of all love and all truth. And so it is. All right, so I've decided to work with the Oracle of the Hidden Worlds by Lucy Cavendish today for our reading. So it's a bit more of I guess you could say maybe more of an advanced, there's more of a spiritual messages within this deck, but I thought that was relevant for what it is that is occurring this week. So with that said, what guidance and insight comes forward for the collective's highest good for the week of August 7th, 2023? Ooh, all right, let's see. It's funny because the name of the deck is The Hidden Worlds, and the card that actually came out is The Hidden Worlds. Isn't that interesting? So it's a 38, and numerically that would break down to be number 11. And 11 is an ascension number. It's what we also call a master number in numerology. So we technically would not break that down further. 11 is like the doorway. It's like the two pillars, essentially, that we stand between. And we represent that third pillar. So very much in alignment with the higher frequency energy that's coming in to help us to embody more of our divinity, to integrate divinity and our spiritual self with our physical self, to bring that more into the physical embodiment, if you will, and anchoring that here into our current or new timeline. Because 11, again, with that two pillars there, being that third, it's like the anchoring between the worlds, between heaven and earth, if you will. At the same time, to me, it is a number of ascension. It speaks to opening up a new threshold that allows us to step up our vibration, to step up our awareness and our consciousness, that we have this opportunity to kind of reclaim and bring in more of our higher insight and wisdom. It's also a number of manifestation and power, as it helps to activate and level up. So again, being very, very mindful of your thoughts this week, everybody, and your words and your actions, because they're all creating that reality going forward. But it's also, again, that number of, kind of like a new beginning, new opportunities presenting themselves too. So very powerful. It says changing consciousness, awareness, extrasensory perception. And I just got the goosies. So that's my higher self's way of showing me confirmation. So it essentially is reiterating everything that I've already said about what this Lion's Gate energy is facilitating for us all. So I feel like need to kind of go back over that. But what I am going to say is that I'm so drawn to this little, like, beautiful, ethereal, fairy-like being. And to me, it just speaks to how we're going to become more and more aware, or we're being asked to be more and more aware of what is occurring in the in-between. And what that means to me is that not everything that is here, that is available to us, can be accessed with the physical eye. And our logical mind tries to rationalize everything, which will then distort the fullness of what it is that we are actually experiencing. So if you are open-hearted, it allows you to feel into everything that is occurring, not only energetically around you. You may be experiencing, for example, I'm just going to say this, but Bridge, I don't think this actually is your situation. But for example, a random sudden headache out of the blue is a way of like extrasensory perception that is showing you sometimes there's a negative energy in a space that's not in alignment with you. And what that means is it could be somebody who is very low vibrating, in the sense of like they just have very toxic thoughts, patterns, actions, words. This is somebody who would more intentionally do this. It isn't somebody who just doesn't know. Like, you're just like, oh, that person is negative, and they're just a dark energy. No, it would be somebody who is aware of what they do and they do it. So when you come into that space with someone, when you come into an energetic connection that I'll say is a lower vibration energy, because again, we're not the only beings here. Take that as you like it. You don't have to agree with me. It's not my problem if you do. If you don't, it's okay if you do or if you don't. But again, the physical eyes and the logical mind try to rationalize everything. So there are light beings that are here facilitating the growth of the planet, the healing of the waters, the healing of the plants, the life force of the trees, and, tending to that like these elemental beings. But then there are also beings that are lower vibrational. And like a headache to me would be a sudden one. I came into contact with something a little bit more negative, lower in vibration. Could be a person, but it could also be an energy. Take that how you want to. So that just shows me I might need to clear my energy field. I might need to be aware of what's going on around me and maybe disconnect myself from a situation or from an environment. That's just an example, okay? So extrasensory perception. At the same time, You could be connecting into the energy of everything. And because we do, our energy affects everything. Everything affects everything. So you could be connecting into maybe some little magical beings, like your flowers, you know, you'd be connecting into the trees. You could be receiving energetic upgrades. Bridget, this is more of what I'm picking up for you, is the headache could be your body telling you there is some resistance, there's an energetic block, but it's being opened in either your brow or your crown. It's being open to bring more light, to birth more light, which is your divinity. But tune into that on your own. And this is a great opportunity whenever you experience shivers. It's funny that I got that. It's like my higher self was showing as an example. The goosebumps, shivers, tune in. What does that mean? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Allow for that instead of trying to logically rationalize it, because then you're just going to lose it. Dreams, what did they mean to you? Our dreams are going to be incredibly heightened if they haven't already been. They're teaching you something. Some people have reported having really crazy, scary, traumatic nightmares. What I say about that, it is your unconscious wounding coming up to the surface to show you something that's ready to be resolved and to be healed. Work with that, understand that, accept that, and then you can give it love and let it go. It's essentially all happening to elevate us, to elevate our energy fields, to elevate our consciousness. They go hand in hand. So there may be some physical stuff going on this week that just we're not used to. Listen to your body. Also listen to your discernment. If you think you need to see a doctor, I'm not one. Go see a doctor. If you think you need to see a metaphysical or a metaphysician, I am one. You could also always come see somebody like me as well to help you with any shifting and integrating of new energy patterning and whatnot, if need be. So we are changing our consciousness, which is also probably going to bring some stuff up to our awareness this week that's going to ask us to let some stuff go. It might be bringing some patterns up to the surface to show you, hey, this situation, this way of thinking, this way of being, you're limiting yourself, you're restricting your growth. It's time for you. I'm showing this to you so that you can let this go. It could be shown to us through people. It could be shown to us through dreams. It could be shown to us through our own experiences throughout the day. Another thing that's happening is symmetry or synchronicity. It is constantly communicating to you. Pay attention to the symbols, to the signs, what is dropping into your awareness. All of these things can be broken down. Most often than not, they're not literal, but sometimes they literally can be like a word on a truck or a billboard or something. It's like, there's the word. Yeah, what is it saying? But sometimes it can be it's the way that the divine or spirit in the spirit world communicates to us, including our higher selves, is more often than not through symbolism. And that means, like oracle cards, you take the imagery and you break it down and interpret the message, you know. So I see this beautiful being of light, receiving light. I say, that is us. We are not this physical form that you see that in the mirror every day. We are multidimensional beings of light. We do have something called a light body. And this is what is currently being activated and asking us to allow for these ascension frequency waves to come in. So adjustments are happening. Allow for them. Again, I'm really drawn to the violet. So I do feel like it's showing us with the violet color is the violet ray, which speaks to alchemy and transmutation. So a lot of our experiences that are coming up this week, they're coming up to be alchemized, to be transmuted, and to be able to leave behind the old to step into the new. And a lot of that is going to have to do with us, the way that we respond, the way that we perceive, and the way that we adapt or adopt circumstances, thoughts, patterns, behaviors, and even new experiences going forward. All right. So it looks like it's set to be quite a magical week. It can be a little bit challenging. Ride with it. Flow with it. And you'll just get through a lot easier than struggling against the current, because we all know what happens then. You tire yourself out and you just get sucked under. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being present with me. If you enjoyed this reading, give it a like. I do see us letting some stuff go this week to adopt some new beginnings, some new opportunities. And again, this week is going to be like the in-between, kind of like transitionary period, but I also do see how a lot of it has to do with our perception, our own patterns, and that's what we're kind of releasing, which is going to open up the door for those new experiences and new connections even to enter our lives. All right, everyone. Thank you so much again for being here. Give the video a like, and sending my love and blessings to all of you on this magical Energy Gateway week. Take care.